want to help people get off drugs and also want to show you how to go in and make the changes. So that's the whole purpose of addressing this stuff. And so what, here it is, you're a beginner. And you go, wow, well, how do you do this? I mean, what do you do? And so then you start watching this, you see the artwork. Because really this is artwork. This is really, you're sitting in front of me, I let you be the guide, and I start helping you make these changes. You want to heal and you want to make the changes. And so, I've worked with people with addictions on all types of addictions. So what are the, one of the things I ask myself and I ask individuals, I've been doing weight loss seminars. Now weight loss seminars are dealing with what? Food. I believe, definitely. So what is there's a common theme amongst addicted people. What's the difference you think is a person who's a foodaholic, an alcoholic, a drug addict, a workaholic, a shopaholic, what else is there? I mean, you can be a bookaholic, a YouTubeaholic, sexaholic, you name it. What's the difference in all of them?
They're all doing something.
It's just what they're choosing to use. So what's the real problem? If here it is, I'm using whatever it is, what is the real core? Inside of us, right, the emotions. Inside of us, we don't know how to deal with our feelings and our emotions, so we look outside somewhere to escape what we feel. Now anybody comes to see me, and I ask most of you, I said, why do you think you're addicted? And the common theme is, I'm addicted because I don't want to feel bad anymore. I'm tired of the pain, so I look for some way to snub out, to cover up, to release, to avoid what I'm hurt. I'm hurting inside. That's the key. So here it is, you're in this facility, you want to get out, you don't want to go back. How are you going to really never go back? What is it that you must address to keep you from coming back?
The emotions.
The emotions, the feelings. Now here's the weird thing about it. Somebody can come in and they've been sexually abused, physically abused, emotionally traumatized, and others haven't been. But behind each individual, they have some emotional driver there. Maybe how crappy they say to themselves, or how bad they feel about themselves, or they feel abandoned, or they feel rejected, or they feel like they're worthless. And then they have all these memories to prove it. Now inside of our minds, these memories, are they real or not real?
Not real.
But they do seem real, don't they? As a matter of fact, they seem so real when you think about it, it drives your heart to pound to your chest, and then you start making decisions based on what you do within you. Isn't that right?
Yes.
So if you don't go there and you don't address that, what will happen? You make it real, and also when you go out and you leave here, and if this stuff, these emotions, these feelings are still inside you, what's going to happen when you get a job, you get a girlfriend, you get a boyfriend, something happens and all these emotions show up? You want to find some way to escape. So the only way that you'll never get back in this situation again, in any bad situation, is one, you have to take ownership of what you feel. You have to own, this is my problem, I can do this right here in this room. That means I'm the one who's producing this. And then you say, okay, if I'm the one who's producing this, how do I change it? Again, we use the tapping process. Isn't that right?
Right.
Do you realize when you use the tapping and you go inside you to address your problems, the first thing you want to do is say, oh shit, I don't want to do it. I've got this wall. I don't want to go inside because why? Because we're all escapeaholics. Escapeaholic says, I don't want to go in there where I am. I don't want to go in there where all my bad memories are. I don't want to go in there where I hurt. So then you try to divert your attention, and anything will do. Drugs, sex, alcohol, TV, shopping, anything. But then again, you're taking it with you. So does that make sense?
Yes.
Now, with your addiction, there's several layers that you must also address. We're talking about what you do inside you and what you think, but you also got to look at your drug. We've got to look at your, whatever it is that you're using. So that means, when I have people come in, and I think a real good video to watch is one of the weight loss seminars. The weight loss seminars is exactly the same for any drug. So that means, you're in here for what was it that you used, or what?
Heroin.
Heroin, all right? We got heroin sitting right here. And you go back to your memories with heroin. And as you go back to the memories with heroin, you'll notice that you'll start feeling emotions, sensations, fears. Now, if you have this inside you, when you leave, you've been here for 3.5 years, 2.5 years, you're here and you leave with these emotions and the feelings about heroin. sitting right here, it's easy to be sucked back in. So what I did when I have people with addictions, we put you back into place. We put you back in where that drug is, and then you start tapping out the feelings and emotions around that drug. And then when you get down to the emotions out of that drug, then you put dog shit on top of it. I mean, really, you think you put dog shit, you put the people that were hurt and are in pain that you hurt, and you put it right there, and you think about the heroin, and then the first thing you notice is you think about heroin, and you think about the sadness about people that you hurt, or the smell of dog shit, or put boogers on it, or whatever it is that says, I'll never do that again. You've got to make it to where you'll never do it again, change the emotions around it, and every time you think about it, it's like, no thank you. You see what I'm saying? That's one area. And then here's another one. You have to look at, let's say for example, there's many people here for many different reasons. Let's say your whole family's addicted. You come from a family, everybody's getting high, everybody's getting drunk, everybody's doing something. Now here it is, this is your family. I mean, you're supposed to be addicted. I mean, this is a family tradition, right? So now here it is, you've got to abandon your family. And why do you think you're addicted? Because one, you want to be a good family member. You see it? So then here it is, you get out, then all of a sudden you go back home, and then you have that emotional pull, wouldn't it?
Right.
So you have to address this emotional connection with family. Because granted, they have problems, and if you operate from that thinking, you're going to have problems. So then you've got to create a new identity about yourself. Where's your connection now? Where's your power at? You know, you love your mom, you love your dad, you love your brothers, you love your sisters. And then you go back, and guess what they're still doing?
Same thing.
Same thing. So then what do you do about it? You've got to tap out the emotions about trying to be a good family member. Because if you're a good family member with that stuff, you're going to be sucked back into it. Then you've got to create a whole new identity to self. Okay, habilitat is a what? It's a family, isn't it? It's a family unit. Now, why are you a family unit? One, they're trying to give you a different belief system about who? About yourself, about who you think you are. So what you have to do is start addressing the old family. Release the rejections that your mother's always rejected you, your father didn't want you, your brothers didn't like you, whatever it is. Because if those emotions are still floating around, you're still feeling rejected, you're still feeling whatever it is, you're going to be sucked back into the game. So what you do is you go back to memories, and those memories that hurt. And as you start changing this, and all of a sudden your life changes. That's another area that if you want to end the addiction, if you want to end the pain, you have to look at where you came from. That's so powerful, because I'm telling you, if you don't do each of those areas, you know, you can come in Habilitat or any other facility, if you don't address what you do up here, which is really here too, if you don't change the emotional references, you can get sucked back in. You see it? Now you're going to find that even watching the weight loss, or you're watching some of the tapping processes. So they understand the structure of addiction. You've got to create a new family, a new identity, and you have to release the pain and the emotional attachments to whatever the drug is, whatever emotional feelings that you have. Because see, I have some people come in, and some of you, this is your model of thinking, is that I'm addicted because I feel no one loves me. And all of a sudden you get at work and you start feeling no one loves you, then all of a sudden you start feeling sad, you start feeling hurt, and the next thing you know is you want to add what to it? Something to numb the pain. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
So if you go to, I know one loves me, and you feel it, and you let go of the pain of that, then all of a sudden it doesn't matter. And the crazy thing is, even when you feel like no one loves you, so people do love you. Even when they do love you, guess what you're feeling? Nobody loves me. And so if you have a feeling of always being rejected, what you do is not only you reject other people, but you're also rejecting you, and yet you're the one who's still doing it. So you have to go those emotions. So when you're here, this is the gift. And somebody asked me, they said, well, Robert, I have this wall inside of me. What do I do? Face the wall. Now the best gift for you to heal is the wall. The best place for you to find your healing is that person in this room or outside this room that is stirring your devil up, your demons up, the ones that are pissing you off. Now, if they're doing that, what do? You tap. You keep tapping on them, because that's the present. That is the gift to help you overcome it. As soon as you tap them out, they can do all their stupid craziness, and you go, oh, big deal, they got problems. Before you take it to bed with you, you wrestle with it, you get angry, and then you're all upset, and then guess what you're gonna have to do? You'll start eating. Or you start sucking on cigarettes. Or whatever else that you do, try to escape your problem.
Valid. Valid.
What's that?
I said that's valid.
Valid.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's true.
I mean, that's, so again, are you solving the problem, or are you just shifting problems?
Shifting.
So you have to address the emotion. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So what I suggest, I don't know exactly the whole emotional dynamics in the situation, but I suggest if you can tap on each other, tap on each other. Create a tapping buddy. And I always say, I don't know if they have video 118, but I bet if you watch the training, I always say do the bad list. Do the shitty list. Do the stuff that you don't want to talk about. Feel the emotions of the worst, and then start tapping and cleaning this up. Now, the moment you start cleaning it up and you get it to where all the emotions out and you flip it, you know what the flip it is, right? You take the bad, Mama said this, it was horrible, and now Mama's saying, I love you, you're the best child in the world. You keep flipping all your memories. So that's the key. Keep doing it, keep doing it. Now, those of you who are using this every day, who are using this as a tool to heal you, you're going to go far. You're going to conquer. You're going to make more money. You'll never come back here unless you're going to come back to help somebody else. Those of you who just say, hey, this is interesting, it's kind of cool, it works, but you're not going to use it, you won't go as far. Because you're not conquering your life. You're not taking control emotionally. See, our best coping skill before you got in here was what?
Drugs.
Drugs or running. And it means you go to drugs, you can go to sex, you can go to alcohol, you can go to work, you can go to whatever else that you try to run from what you have within you.
Something to make you feel.
Just anything to numb the pain. That's why people are addicted, is because they want to feel better. And they're trying anything to escape what? What they have within them. You see it?
Yeah.
So you won't come back. You'll never come back. Unless you want to come to help somebody and you want to do something. If you address your pain. Ever. So when you're at work, you're out, your girlfriend, say for example, you leave here, you graduated, and you got a girlfriend, you got a wife, you got a husband, and all of a sudden the shit hits the fan, and you don't have any skills, and your best skills are go back to the drugs. You don't know how to deal with it. So that's why you have to do this every day. Every day for the rest of your life. This is not something you try. This is a coping mechanism that you'll do even on the last day of the last breath of your life. When you're on your deathbed, you're going to use it. I use it all the time. Anything doesn't bother me, let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. Mentally, let it go, let it go. I'll be looking at you at that
Is that
point.
what you mean on the non-tap? Sometimes do you do the non-tap where you just kind of think it through?
Just in my mind, do it. Matter of fact, I can do it like this. Peace. Because your mind learns this fast.
Yeah.
The deal is you have to take ownership of it.
What works better for you, like the mental tap or the actual physically tapping?
You know, they all work. But if I were to choose, I do it physically. I do it like this. I drive and tap. I sit on the pot and tap. I think about whatever and tap. I look at you and I'm being triggered. When I'm working on somebody else, I'm tapping if it's triggering me. So that's, the deal is do it. That's it, just do it. That's the key. And if you do it, you're going to get results. If you don't, you won't. Yeah.
Which parts of your body do you use the most when you tap? Because I know there's a bunch of different ones.
Yeah. Well, there are. Now, of course, I teach a specific way of tapping, and I use this certain way. These are the points I use. This right here. Grab the wrist. And now, of course, I show on the video many other points.
Yeah.
You don't have to use them. There's
Some of them hurt.
Yeah, some of them do hurt. Yeah. But if I were to say for example, you and I were talking, and you're triggering me, I'll just go like this, just like that, and and then just move on. Because that's what you'll find sometimes you're tapping on yourself. There's one point that really works best for you. You just use it, you just go like that. People don't even pay attention to you anyway, even if you do the whole thing. I'm at Quiznos, and I walk in, and my wife has a look that my father had, and I'm being triggered. First thing I do is I just let it go right there at the counter. People don't know what you're doing. Or you can just do it like this. No, that's the Tom Tar technique, you know? It's just like this. They don't know. Peace. You can do it all in your head. So, does that make sense?
Yes.
It's very, very powerful. All right, have you, any difficult times that you're having or any questions that you may have with the process?
I do. I don't quite know how to explain it. I guess when I'm trying to, thinking about it, maybe it's just my attention span, but I like when I listen to you and watch you, everything, you know, what I'm hearing makes complete sense. And I'm just wondering, like, when I'm doing it, I find myself thinking, like, oh, is this working? Like, I can't hold the focus, or I'm just second guessing the way I'm doing it, I guess, you know. I don't know.
It's the same problem.
Same problem.
Yeah.
So again, so it's the feeling that I don't know if I'm doing it right and
Yeah,
second guessing.
Second guessing.
Yeah. Now see, that by itself is an emotional program right there. One, that I'm not good enough to do it. See, that's an emotional system right there. So then what you're doing is you have to aim at whatever you're feeling. The crazy thing is when you're tapping, weird thing shows up in your head. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. That's when you start really aiming faster. The weird stuff is your mind, you're peeling these layers off. Emotional layers about how people treated you as a kid. And so each time the wall shows up, the wall is saying, hey, this is a problem. I have a wall. I have this feeling. I'm not doing it right. That is an emotion. And then you tap on it. I'm not doing it right. I'm afraid I'm doing it wrong. I'm doing it wrong. Let it go. Just let it go. Let it go. And then go back and make it come back. And you'll notice that if you get rid of that one, all of a sudden it's gone. You know, sometimes like with myself, the biggest changes that I really had was I didn't know what it was. I mean, really, I didn't know what it was. All it was like a big old black stuff. And I felt as if it was all the crap that my dad did to me. Don't know what it was. And I just closed my eyes and I just noticed it. Let it go, let it go, let it go. You watch movies. Movies is a great place to be triggered. Or I'm watching you two interact and something going on and I'm feeling something. I tap on me because what? I'm giving the meaning to this situation. So again, use people to allow it to heal you. Yeah.
Okay, so like I tapped on my son, like this whole situation with his adoption and everything like that, and that whole day, and it brought it down, and like I don't cry about it no more. I really have like, it's just neutral. It doesn't really bother me. But then it's just like another thing will pop up, like his dad, and then like another thing will pop up, like my parents, and then another.
Right.
Just like I was tapping for hours one night.
That's right.
So like, when do you stop it? Because I would be tapping.
Well,
Till
again, you're a
dawn.
beginner, aren't you?
Yes.
You have a lot of shit, don't you?
Yes.
So when do you stop is when it's gone.
Okay. So, but see, that's what I'm saying. Like, all night long, I was
Yeah.
like tapping. I tapped myself to sleep
Yeah.
and probably woke up tapping.
Yeah.
So, just keep doing it,
Just
doing
keep
it,
doing it.
doing
What's
it for
your-
every
what's your-
emotion that pops up.
Everything, and the deal is, if you do this, you're knocking the layers off, one right after another, and you go back. Now what I do say is, say you're doing all this stuff, retreat to a good place. Okay, what I'm saying, retreat to a good place. So here it is, you've got all this stuff, right? All these bad memories and you're cleaning, and then pull out and go back to a good memory with you and your son. It could be the day you held your child, or the day that you felt love. So you're tapping all the bad stuff, you're getting to where it's going down, then step over here, feel the good feelings, because this is the gift to help you heal, and then go back over here and clean it up again. And then you keep going over and over again, and then come back and go to the good feelings.
Go to the
Good
good
job,
feeling
Pat.
for every episode.
Every episode, go to one, you tap it till it's gone, and then step over and change the memory to where it's positive.
Because I did that with my son. So like every time I picture him now, I just think of his smile,
That's
and like so I'm okay with that. But then like his dad pops up, so I go back to that same good memory, and or just find a good memory for that emotion too.
Yeah. Well, you can use one that's a very powerful one, or you create many. So one of the things I will tell you to do, guys, is one, get you a notebook, and I always say get a happy journal. Get a book to write all your good memories. So you start practicing the good memories, then get your notebook and clean up all the bad memories. I call it the peace journal. So I mean, you write every bad thing that you can ever think of, every memory, every reference, and then you start cleaning up the bad ones and make peace with them. So I mean, here it's bad, now you make it good. Bad, make it good. So that you're knocking layers down each time. Now, the more you do this, the better your life gets, and the harder it is to feel bad, and easier it is to feel good. And then even throughout your entire day, if you notice somebody says something nice to you, or you feel like you accomplished something, write it down. Because see, we've been so good at focusing on what's wrong and all the bad things. So now what we want to do is focus on the good things and practice feeling good. The better you are at feeling good, the better your life becomes, naturally. Okay, we got several. We'll go back here, we'll come back over here.
That's like where my wall comes in. When I'm tapping things about my daughter, it's like I try to go, like when I get too deep into it, I try to go to the positive and try to see her smile, but then like I just put up a wall. Like I don't want to see the good side of it.
Okay. So,
And,
so then maybe you may ask yourself, why do I not want to see this? Maybe I don't, maybe, you know, because we have weird beliefs. I'm guilty, I deserve to suffer. You may ask yourself, I need to be punished, and maybe a self-punishment, or there could be a belief about yourself. Well, you're a horrible person, you should suffer the rest of your life. Or, I don't know what your deal is, but look at this and say, what is it about me that I can't do this? And feel it and tap that out too. Because again, it's really you, not her. And if you heal this part, whatever this is about you, your life is going to shift and change. Yeah, so again, so as soon as you find an area that's tough, you keep going back to it and tapping it. I don't know if it's in the DVD series that you have. There's a program called Borrowing. You remember, is it in the DVD set called Borrowing?
We didn't watch it.
Huh?
I don't know if it's in there, but we didn't watch it.
Okay, what you do is you step into a good memory, step into the good memory and notice the good feeling there. And then while you're feeling it, notice where you feel that and send the good feeling to whoever's involved. Like your mother, your daughter, yourself. And then what you do is you're using your emotional intelligence to heal the pain of the past. Again, what is the cause of all problems?
Emotion.
What's the cause of all problems is birth.
Is what?
Birth.
When born.
Birth. The cause of all problems is that you're born. That's why. Okay?
Valid.
What?
That's valid.
That's valid, right? You know, and it's not because you went through the vagina and being the birthing process. It's not that. It's because you're born and then you start to learn how to have problems because of who?
Your parents.
Whoever it is that's in your life.
Raised you.
Right, and you begin to learn how to act like them, right?
Yep.
Right, that's the key. So the cause of all problems is birth, and the second reason that why do we have problems? I'll tell you why, just save you the trouble.
Like that.
Because we know how. Okay? Why we have problems is because we know how. So that means you can have a problem right now sitting in this room. Well, how do you do it? Well, you're thinking the right things, you're seeing the right things, you're saying the right things, you're imagining. So why we have problems is because we're doing something internally to create the problem. And so here it is, something happened, you say he got mad at me and he yelled at me and said something, right? Now I could say, well, what did I do wrong, right? Or I say, man, that guy's got problems. So what's the difference? Is how I process this experience. And the reason how I process it is based on what I internalize and represent. Does that make sense? So again, it goes back to where's the ownership of our problems? I'm doing this to me, I'm responding to you. When you got heroin sitting in front of you, alcohol sitting in front of you, drugs, is it really the drugs, heroin and stuff doing it to you?
No.
Or is it your reactions and your emotions? So that's why you tap it out till it's gone. Make sense? Okay.
No, I was gonna ask you, okay, so we'll go back to the good feelings after you tapped in on the cleaning it off, the bad feelings, the bad thoughts. We'll go back, we're using that for balance, so we're not changing the good feeling, we just go there to see it, to feel that good feeling, and then go back and clean it up like you're saying. Is that what we're using it for to help?
Yeah. Well, there's another concept that I'm using here. One, we're using our emotional states to heal us. Two, there's a concept called infractionation. Now, this infractionation is what a hypnotist will do. Say, for example, I'm a hypnotist. By the way, we're all hypnotists, right? Mm-hmm. Right. So let's say, for example, I'm going to take you, say, guide you into a trance. Take a deep breath, close your eyes. Your body's getting more relaxed, and say you starting to go into trance, and you go from 10 to 0. You're deep trance. Okay. So then you go down, you go to about a 7-level trance, and then I have you come back up, wake up. And then I say, all right, let's go back again. Now you're going back, now you're going even deeper. And I say, all right, come back up, wake you back up. So it's called infractionation. The more you do it, the deeper you go. Okay. So we're doing infractionation the opposite way.
I see.
So here it is, when you go to the doo-doos, the crap, that's a deep trance, isn't it?
Right.
Right. You're deeply creating this.
Okay.
And so then what you're doing is you're going into the doo-doos, the bad stuff, and then you're pulling back out over here to the good stuff.
Okay.
So you're using your good stuff to destroy
Right.
the bad
To
stuff.
go deeper more.
Yeah. Well,
I
actually
see.
you can't see before. Say you go to the worst memory in your life, and you
Right.
start thinking about it, you really feel like a 10.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So then you start tapping, and we start fractionating. What'll happen is you can't go that deep. So then instead of going all the way down to a 10, we're pulling you all the way up where you can't even go there. Actually, you're changing the memory completely to where you'll never feel bad with that. And if you ever do, you just tap on it because there's many avenues to these problems. So
Right.
that's why we're using it. We're using emotional intelligence. So again, use your positive to heal you.
I see.
I mean, see, so if you go back, say, if you go back to your bad stuff and you keep remembering the bad stuff, guess what happens? The more you remember it, the better you get at it. That means you're perfecting feeling bad. So you're going deeper and deeper and deeper. Next thing you know, I say 5 times 5 is what? Pops right in. Feel like shit? Pop right in. You see it? Because we use this skill everywhere we go in every situation. So when you start tapping on it, you start cleaning it up. Is that good?
Yeah.
So the tapping, you got the tapping down pretty easy? Yes, no? Yes?
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Now there's another series that I have in there. It's called Tapping Only. And it's just nothing but 17 DVDs of straight tapping. All right. Now I remember somebody saying, well, Robert, you know, I'm watching these DVDs and I'm feeling like crap. You know, when somebody comes up with an emotional issue or something. And if you start feeling like crap, why are you feeling like crap?
Just
Using an emotional charge.
Because it's stirring up whose problem? Yours. So that is helping you heal. Now the deal is if you run from it and you don't address it, guess what you're saying?
You don't want to heal.
You don't want to heal, you want to keep it. Right. So what you do, as soon as you notice that something's triggering you, you may pull back for a little bit and tap and then go back to it again, think about it and tap. Now, does that make sense?
Yep.
If you run from it, ultimately you're saying, I like this and I'm going to keep it for the rest of my life. If you face it and you keep tapping until it's gone, you're ultimately saying, I'm taking charge of my life, I don't want this anymore. Because see, we always think, well, if it's bad here, I'll run over here. The problem is you're going to take whatever reaction you have here with you. And then you keep dating the same thing, you keep marrying the same thing, you keep working for the same thing, you keep seeing the same thing everywhere you go. So that's the key. So when you notice it, you feel it, and you release it. Notice it, you feel it, release it. And if you need to retreat, retreat and then go back. But do not run. Do not take off running and never stop, because that's supporting your problem. Alcoholics, drug addicts, foodaholics have the same problem, is they don't own up and they don't address it and they don't let it go. They keep running. Yes.
When you're tapping and different memories come up, are you always telling yourself the same thing, or release and let it go, or, you know?
Yeah.
When you're tapping on memories, whether it be whatever.
It doesn't matter what it is. So the key of tapping, the key to tapping is this, is aiming. Aiming is the most important part. Because when you think of a memory, you think of something, notice how you know that it's there. You may have a picture, you may have a feeling, or you may have a sound, or you may have some kind of something inside. That's the key to aiming. Now, if you say, for example, you go to memory and you feel anger, and you know it's anger, I release the anger. I release this anger. I release the anger. And then you go back to that. And you keep going over and over again until it's gone. Again, changing your memories, the bad memories, to where they're not there anymore, ends all your problems. Every one of them. If you're going to a job interview, you're going to a meeting. By the way, this is a great place to tap. I don't know what it's called, when you get around and people start yelling at each other, straighten out. Games. I told Jeff, I said, Jeff, you know what will make this more effective? After one person go around doing whatever it is, stop, everybody feel it and tap. So of course, now what happens when you do that? You're going to destroy all the bad stuff, aren't you? So of course, you know, that's not the program here. But I told Jeff this is a great way to heal. Because what it is, it turns all the demons up, it turns all the emotions up, and then you're tapping on it, you're getting rid of it. So if you go to the games, when you go back to your room, tap that game out. Tap whatever you heard, tap whatever you feel, and then what's going to happen is the game will never be a game for you again. The pain will never be a part of your life. You see it? Use it to heal you.
Yep.
I mean, that's so powerful.
Yep.
Isn't that good? That's a
Well, that
gift
makes
right there.
That makes
Yes,
a lot
it
of
is.
sense. I've never thought of that. 'Cause
Yeah.
usually after games, I'm like,
It's
Yeah.
it's just like you got beat up, right?
it's like I don't, it takes a hard time to actually listen to what I heard, digest it, and go through it. And I have to talk a lot to people sometimes, and
Yeah.
I could just easily like
Tap it out.
tap it out
Yeah.
and then
Well,
talk
one
about
thing we
how I
gotta
feel
make
later
sure-
on about it.
And you'll notice if you tap it out after it happens, you're like, big deal.
Exactly.
Who-
And
now-
I make it a big deal, and
Yeah.
it's really not.
Absolutely. Now here's the deal. You have to understand. Everything that comes out of my mouth is whose problem. Say What is your name?
Daryl.
All right, Daryl, or what's your?
Ashley.
Ashley. So here it is. I see Daryl. I see Ashley, or any of you. So here it is. I have an issue with him, and I start lashing out at him. Right? I'm saying whatever it is I'm saying. Whose problem is it?
Yours.
So everything I say to Daryl, or everything I say to you, is about who?
Yourself.
Me. So when you have to realize this, see what happens, I'm lashing out at you, you're taking this, well, what did I do wrong? I must be a piece of shit. It's my fault. And then you start taking this and you start building a life around it. So just realize that somebody has an issue with you, whose problem is it?
Theirs.
Now granted, you may be guilty of something too. All right? Tap out your stuff. Tap out whatever it is and clean it up. It's going to heal you. I'm telling you, this is the best gift that you could ever receive, is the ability to change what you do within you. Isn't that right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, cause sometimes in games it comes, you hear things that maybe you might have thought were going on, or you might have thought were going on with yourself, but it never really came to surface, you know what I mean? And then if you can start kind of seeing that, then it'd probably be easier for you to tap them out and be like, yeah, that's kind of true, and whenever that emotion is stirred up, you can just like tap that out. I'm really getting, really starting to get a hang of it, because I'll be honest with you, I wasn't. It's kind of hard, you know. I mean, I get people are gonna always talk smack or talk mess about what they don't believe or understand. I understand that, but what I was having a problem with was actually like seeing until just now, like seeing the problem, right? I mean, no matter what it is, you know. I mean, there's any number of them, you know what I mean, and just releasing it, you know what I mean, and then not having that be a problem anymore, you know. That is the hard part, and using the tapping. I don't understand how come it didn't click, but as a coping mechanism, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To instead of running or using drugs or playing basketball or you know what I mean, or some other thing that I used to do, you know what I'm saying, to push everything behind, and but the problem would still be there.
Right.
And with the tapping, I can get rid of it. And
Absolutely.
it's kind of a relief now.
Yeah, yeah, it is a coping skill. It's not a toy. It's something you'll use forever. And it's and the deal is, the nice thing, if you use it, you won't have to use it all the time. The more you use it, the less your problems get. I mean, that's the nice thing. So, you've probably seen this. All right, whatever the issue is, we call it game. Let's do game, right? So here it is, you go to game, and it stirs all this stuff up, right? All the emotions, or your memories, and so here it is, you have this, and then you go, oh shoot, I feel like crud, so I'll go eat. All right? Now most people come into a facility like this, what's one of the things that happens to them?
They gain weight.
They gain weight. Because they're not addressing the problem, they're using an escape. Or one, they'll start smoking. Right? Or they'll just start working really hard, and they'll just start working again. So here it is, whatever happens, and you run over here, or drugs, alcohol, sex, work, whatever it is, and when you come back here to the game, it's still there.
Yeah.
You see it?
Yes.
All right, so what we do in the game is we clean up our inner game. We clean up our emotions, we clean up our feelings, we clean up our hurts. Then there is no escape. That means you won't need to do any of these things, because this is another problem. There is no escape. There's only one escape, and that is going inside. Ninside, right? Inside you. Clean the middle game up, the inner game. This is the real game of life. And I'm telling you guys, if you use this, you'll leave here and you'll be more powerful, you'll make more money, your relationships will improve. Now you're going to have to address every area of your life, and you just start looking, you got lots of good time here to heal you.
So if we don't go inside, then we're just creating more problems on the outside.
Absolutely, absolutely. So here it is, let's say for example, you have emotional issues and your best coping skill is to eat, right? The next thing you gain weight, you're going to have health problems. All your body's tendon-noning. It gets worse. Tendon-noning a tire.
Yeah.
And then you start beating yourself up because you look at yourself and you're so ashamed of your body. And let's say, for example, it's just work. Hey, you're working yourself to death, and you usually work for nothing. You'll find a job that don't appreciate you, or you work your tail off, and the next thing you know, your kids are going to spend it all, or you're going to spend the rest of your money trying to fix your body because your health is falling apart. Or the same way with drugs. You went to drugs because it wanted to make you feel better. What did it create?
Chaos.
More problems. You go to smoking. You keep smoking, guess what happens?
Cancer.
Cancer, you can't breathe, and you're always standing out in the cold, and everybody's looking at you and saying, look at that poor loser sucking on a cigarette. You know? So it's the same basic problem. So the deal is address your emotions and release and let it go. There is only one escape, and that's going inside and changing you inside. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I mean, that is the only way that you're going to get out of here and never come back. Now, I will tell you this. If you heal yourself, it's okay to come back and visit. Share what really worked for you. Touch your children. Touch your friends and say, hey, man, I have skills to change me now. Because if you don't have any skills to change in or you're going to keep coming back until it kills you. That's it. That does make sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's very powerful. Now, how many of you have been in other programs? Right. Do they talk about changing this inner game? Do they even show you how to change it?
Nothing. They don't even go into the emotions and all that much. They don't work on it like over here, do like what you teach.
It's a lot of surface.
It's all surface
Just
stuff.
the drug that you're addicted to and how you can
Coming
overcome
out.
not going back to that drug. It's not what's associated.
Right. And that's why the success rate is lower, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, the success
They're not worried about success
Or
rate.
even
Huh?
They're not worried about success rate, they're worried about funding.
Yeah. So what we want to do is do the real work, and the real work is going inside. And you can see it, can't you? Yeah. Very powerful.
Mine like Ashley's. I was tapping on my dad, and it went from one, and it brought up more and more. Where I found myself getting really distracted and drained. But kind of even
You
I
can still
just
feel it
thought,
right now.
you know, yeah, I feel it right now.
Yeah, close your eyes right now and just feel it. Close your eyes and just feel that drain. You got it?
Yeah.
All right, everybody tap with us. So just let it go. Just let it go. Inside your eye, let it go. Under the eye, safe, let it go.
Safe, let it go.
Collarbone, just let it go.
Let it go.
Wrist, just let it go.
Let it go.
Deep breath. And peace. Go back to that drain, see if it's still there.
Not as much.
All right, do it again. Let it go.
Let it go.
Inside your eye, let it go.
Let it
Under
go.
the eye, let it go.
Let it go.
Collarbone, let it go.
Let it go.
Wrist, let it go. Deep breath. Peace.
Peace.
So keep doing this. Keep cleaning it. Keep cleaning it. Keep cleaning it.
Yeah.
And then when you go to your father, whatever the father is, because I had a father who was mean. He beat the crap out of you like this. My father was killed in a car wreck in 91 or 92. And my uncle knocked on the door and he said, well, he was killed in a car wreck. First thing I thought, well, the son of a bitch got what he deserved. I was so angry, so bitter, so hurt. And it took me a long time to clean this up. Now I can look at my father and I know he loved me. You know, he loved me the best way he knew how. He loved me because he was hurt and he gave me his best hurt. You need to think about it. You've been giving yourself the best that you have. And you had these bad experiences and you kept repeating them over and over again, not knowing that you can have a better life. And the better life is letting it go. Feel it, let it go. Feel it, let it go. Feel it, let it go. That's where your power is. And you I'm telling you, every one of you who is applying this every day and will do this until your entire stay here, I promise you, your life will be different. Completely there. It already has changed, hasn't it? You see it differently?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how are you doing?
I'm doing very well.
Yeah, so how long ago did we work with you?
January.
January. So what's the difference you noticed?
Just the outlook on things, the way that I can turn things around and see it the way that it really is, changing that whole picture. And just any sort of feeling that I come across that I don't want to be feeling, I'll tap it out right on the spot.
Good deal. Isn't that powerful?
It is. It's just made life so much more simple,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. It is awesome. It's really awesome, guys. I'm very proud of you.
Can you actually go over the anchoring process?
Oh, anchoring?
Mhm.
Okay, yeah. So you have something too?
Yeah, that like it's not a memory. You just to reiterate, like you can't really identify what it is. You just tap on that feeling. Like
Yes.
for me, it's like day in, day out, anger, pissed off, whatever, everything kind of thing. You know? Yeah, just that feeling is on.
Yeah, see, like I told you, I had that big black spot inside me. I don't know what it was, but you know, when I stayed with it, I don't know how big it was, but it was big. I didn't know what it meant, but I knew it was there. I kept going until it was gone, and my life changed that moment. I don't even know what it was, really. So, yeah, just own what you know, how you know it's there. You don't have to have it. You don't have to know where it came from. You don't have to who gave it to you. You don't even have to know what it means. All you had to say is, let it go, let it go, let it go. It's safe to let it go. Just let it go. Go back to it again. If it's there, do it again, do it again, do it again until it's gone. How many times does it take to tap it? How long will you tap on it?
As long as it takes.
Until it's gone or until you pass out. Whichever comes first. Okay? So what do you mean by anchoring? Explain what it is or how it works or what?
Yeah, and how it works and how to do it specifically.
Okay. Anchoring, it happens all the time. Anchoring is how our minds will put emotions in something. Like this, for example. When you think of this color, you can anchor this to a good feeling or a bad feeling. All right? So this is just a color until you give the meaning to it. So what you do is you can access a memory, such as a feel-good memory, and then you can feel good, and then all of a sudden you can look at this color. And as you look at this color, you're feeling good. And then you break state, and you go back and you think of something that makes you feel really good, and you look at the color. So what you do is you're anchoring and putting all your emotions right here. And then anytime you see the color, what's going to happen is that it will bring up a memory or a good feeling. Anchoring. So there's many ways to create anchors. So you can do it with auditory, like this is an anchor.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It stirs an emotion.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Because see, this is how our brains work. Our brains operate the same way. It's all anchoring. So there's ways of creating anchors. You can create a physical anchor, an auditory anchor, a visual anchor, and you can collapse anchors. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So what you do is it's an emotional state that you're applying it to anything. A touch. So let's say, for example, with what's your name?
Caroline?
All right, Caroline. So Caroline, she's talking about something wonderful. And I said, you can feel that, can't you? And I touch her right here on the knee. All right, so then this becomes a physical anchor. So the next thing she's saying, hey, you remember that time that you felt really good? And you just touch her right there, and all of a sudden those feelings will be is anchored in a touch. Or it's anchored in a word. So you think about it. When you think about a memory that really isn't real, you know really you're here now. But when you go to a memory, all of a sudden that's a trigger, and it's triggering up emotions attached to whatever. So you can do many ways to create an anchor. One of the things is, it's in a book. I'll send the book. I'll send a couple of copies of this book. It's called Mind Words. Have anybody had a chance to read Monsters and Magical Sticks?
A few of the people in the class.
Yeah.
Read like half of it.
Half of it. It's really good, isn't it?
Yes.
It definitely opens up your mind, see how things. Okay. So this is how you can do collapsing anchors. What you do is you can create a positive anchor and a negative anchor. Usually, this is the story. I read this book, Mind Works, and it's teaching about what anchors are. And my daughter comes in and she's telling me a story of an event that happened to her when she was like 6 or 7 years old. And we went to a garage sale, and in this garage sale there was, I call it the teddy bear story, but it was something else. She had this teddy bear, and she said, is this $50 or 50 cents? And they laughed at her. And as she's telling this story, she's crying. Right? Now that's a trigger, an emotional trigger, and she's feeling really bad. And I didn't know how to fix it. I said, well, don't worry about it, escape, think of something else. It's the avoidaholic mentality. And then later on, I was reading that you can physically create anchors. And so this is what we did. I said, Rachel, take a deep breath, close your eyes, and remember that story. Feel the emotions, and as you feel this emotion, we create a physical anchor associated to it. So reach up and squeeze your earlobe, the height of the emotion. All right, then let go of it, think of something else, and then go back to the memory, feel the emotion, notice how bad it is, and squeeze your earlobe again. So what we did is we created a physical anchor, or trigger, attached to the bad memory. So I said, reach up and feel it, and she felt the bad feeling just by doing that. Now we do that with people, we do that with names, we do it with sounds, we do it with songs at the unconscious level. So then here we have this bad anchor, and then I said, do you have a memory that makes you feel really wonderful? I don't know what it was. She had this big smile. I said, reach up and squeeze your other earlobe. And then think about something else, go back to it again, create a physical anchor here. So we did it 3 times. She felt the good feeling just by going like this, and then the bad feeling by going like this. And then what you do is to collapse it, you squeeze them both at the same time. So close your eyes, and I want you to squeeze them like this. All of a sudden, you can see the tears. She's holding on like this. And the next thing she did, she broke out in a smile. So here it is. So you program your brain to feel bad and feel good. You can't do both at the same time. What your mind will do is erase the bad. I said, go back and think about this memory. She turned and laughed at me with a smile on her face. She said, Daddy, go away, leave me alone. So what you're doing is you're collapsing the triggers and creating positive and negative anchors. Our minds do it all the time, naturally.
So you just tricked your, so you just pretty much tricked your daughter in a belief system now that there was never an incident on her.
Well, again, that's a good, I want you to say that one more time.
You like tricked your daughter and you tricked her brain into believing that there almost wasn't even an incident. You know what I mean? It's like she like held on to it because the incident was fresh in her mind. Once you did this and then she squeezed him and it's like she almost at that point realized that it was like fictional to even believe that it bothered her.
Well, let me help you understand. This is something very powerful from the angle you're coming from.
Okay.
What is real? What is real? Right now. This moment is real. Right. So if you go back to a memory at 5 years old, is it real?
No.
It's made up, isn't it?
No.
But it seems real because why?
It happened to you.
We feel it. Even though it didn't happen to you, it's not happening. But you notice when you go back to a memory that bothers you, when you remember it, it becomes real right now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And that's because it's an unconscious trigger or an anchor. It comes up and you feel like it's there. Right? It's not real. And so what we did is we told the brain, basically we're letting go of the emotions and we're changing it to what really is real, which is now. Pulling the emotions out. We're not tricking the brain, we're actually operating within the brain's system and how it works. See, that's the key. So what is real now? If you feel like crap now, you know how to do it. You're doing something internally to make it real now. And then you start building your life on crap. So you go back, you change all the crap where it's not there, then you can start creating with you in your own power. Does that make sense? That's the key. It's not real. And so here it is, if you have all these bad memories and you keep playing them and you keep beating yourself up on it, what's it going to do for you? It'll give you more later on in the future. Does that make sense? Right. Yeah.
I got a question. Okay, you know when you're saying about the anchors, how do you take away from it if it's a negative thing? Like when you held up the pen, I'll give you the example. First thing I thought was blue, so gang used to be affiliated with, Crips or whatever. And when I started thinking about that, and I looked at the red right there where it says fire extinguisher, and I felt hate, disgusted, like red. Opposite gangs, rivals. Just from looking at colors, you can feel emotions and stuff from it. Like sometimes I can look and I'm like, I'll see a bunch of red and I think of that stuff, and then I can take a step back and like, it's all childish, it's kid games, it's stupid. Other times it'll bring up emotions and memories and you can feel that hate towards it. But how do you take away from it? Or do you tap on it?
Absolutely. Now, I want you to notice something too. I see red. Matter of fact, it makes me think of my car. Cool Challenger, 6-speed, really fast. Everybody likes it. Right? Now, you have a total different meaning to it. So, again, you're having emotions, and these are what I call affirmations. I'm affirming what? My hatred. I'm affirming this. So what you do is you feel it, and then you tap it out until it's not there. As a matter of fact, I'd see red, I would think of something positive. The red lipstick on your girlfriend, she's going to kiss you. And all of a sudden it gives you a total different meaning to it, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Again, it's our emotional associations. So you give it what you want. Now if you like anger and you keep practicing it, guess what's going to happen? You're going to see anger everywhere you go. And you can't drink that one away or smoke that one away or drug that one away because you're practicing it. So again, you have to take control of your life and your emotional states. When you're affirming anything, make sure it's good. If you feel bad, tap on it, don't run from it, tap it until it's gone. And you do this everywhere, every person, every situation, every fear, every phobia, every memory. Tap it. Now the anchoring is one way, but tapping is much faster and deeper. And logically, you said logically I know it's stupid, it's childish. But you know what, that logic didn't solve the problem either, did it?
No.
Guys, logic will not fix your problems. Tapping it, changing emotions will. I mean, there are people who have 4 PhDs and still in prison because they're emotionally stupid. All right? So it is within the emotions. It is within what you do within your mind. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So powerful. Do it. Do it, do it, do it. Good stuff?
Yes.
Guys, now you know that there's some people out there who think you're weird doing this.
Yes.
Right. Right? You gotta tap on it?
I get it. I tap.
In games.
Tap on it.
I hear it in games
We hear it all the time.
about it.
Well, you know what? You and I both know that it works.
Yeah.
Where's your value coming from? Them or you?
Me.
Gotta come.
So if it's coming from games, you know why they're saying it? They said, this is weird, I'm afraid it's gonna change my shit. Now you realize that. This does work. And the deal is, where's your value? Is it in them or is it in you?
Should be nice.
It should be in you. Now guys, if they're making fun of you, you tap on you and say, you know, bless your heart, I'm gonna outperform you when I'm done. I'll never come back because I'm in control. So you just let the games be the games and let the games heal you. Because you know, they're in here and you're in here for one main reason, and that is, I don't know how to deal with my problems. That's what got you here, and this will get you out forever. And that's okay. You know what's true. It's what you do within you, and that's where your healing is.
We did anchoring as a family one night all together, and I don't know, when I tried to anchor and think about something, it was really hard. Like, I couldn't think of anything positive. Like, the only thing that I could think of was, like, negative. Like, I would try to think of my daughter, like, being bored, and then I saw her dad in the picture, and I was like,
Oh yeah.
you know, and
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Did you see? But there's a little program in the training that says how to fuck up a good memory. No, y'all didn't see that one? So here it is. You have a good memory, right? A good memory, whatever the good memory is. And this is what people do to fuck up a good memory. What they'll do is, say for example, like you just said, the birth of my daughter. And at that moment, when you go there, it's just a wonderful experience. You're looking at this little baby and you feel good.
Yeah.
Okay? And then your mind says, yeah, but. And it'll drift right down here to a BM, a bad memory. Right? The bad memory is X, whatever. Right? So here it is. This is real. This is a good experience. And this is a bad. And then what you'll do is you'll drift down here and you start to feel bad. This is how you fuck up good memories. And then you'll never go to good memories because you keep going to experiences to do this. So what do? You go to this and you tap this out. And as a matter of fact, you change this into a good memory. It's all made up anyway, isn't it?
Yes.
So make it good. So then you go back here, then all of a sudden, you have a good memory. You see it? This is how people screw up things. Is they think of, yeah, but, what if, and then they start creating crappy things. And so here it is, and then we have this weird belief, if something good happens, something bad's going to happen. You got to get rid of that one too. You see it? These are belief systems that we learn from where we come from. So this is how to I call it, how to fuck up a good memory. All right? Now you can do the same thing. You have a bad memory, tap it out and go to the good one. We're using the same model, but the right way. We want to keep it good. So again, I suggest, and I always tell, part of my training is, with the weight loss and any other, I said, start with 22 powerful positive memories. If you don't have them, you tap until you find some. If you don't have any, you start making them up. Make them feel good. Because by the way, isn't it all really made up now?
Yeah.
So make it good, right? So that's really, really good. So, and guys, I want you to start trying to recruit other people. We're going to get another team, another video, watching at a different time to start all over. Now the nice thing about this tapping, it works without belief. All right, it does work without, you don't have to believe it works, it works. All right, so if somebody says, well, I don't believe in this stuff, I say, well, let me just show you how it works if you want. You know, I don't know if you can do that, but if they let you. And this is the key to making it work. First of all, what we want to do to make it work, and you know what the quick tap, you know what that is, right? Right. Now there's many different types of tapping that I'm teaching. The quick tap is a power source that utilizing their problems, and they don't have to tell you what it is. All right, so to make the quick tap really work is, first of all, one, they go there. All right, wherever there is, wherever the problem. So they go there, and when they go there, make sure they notice what they're thinking, notice what they're feeling, notice what you're saying. So what we do is, I call it put the cook in the kitchen. That means you're in the kitchen, you're in the memory, you're in the feelings, and you feel it. You got it? So then they put them in there, and then you ask the question, right? What's the question?
How do you know?
Nope, that's not the right one. How do you know is what you're already right there. But you're right. How you know is very powerful. So here it is. They already know because they're in. Not why, but the magic question. This is the quick tap. No, that's not it. If you had a tree in front of you, and if I pull the roots out, what happens?
Yeah.
Right. Right. Now this program right here, the magic question, This one right here, the secret to this is that you're not talking to them at the conscious level. You're talking to the unconscious mind that says, I'm going to go in, I'm going to pull all the roots out from under this problem. Right. Then when you tap on all the points that we know, right? All the points, and you're saying, we are eliminating all sadnesses, all fears, all emotional traumas, guilt, helplessness, hopelessness, and everything else that you listen to the words, take a deep breath, blow it out, and say peace. Then when they go back, what's going to happen if you even rate it from 0 to 10, and it's a 10, and then you hit it one time, what's going to happen is, oh shit, they go, what happened? It just changes this fast. So this is the power tool right here. This is called the quick tap. It's one system that goes in and knocks it all out all at one time. And then when we're doing our working on ourselves, we use let it go, let it go. You're aiming internally that way. How you know is definitely the door to open up how they're doing it internally. But this quick tap is the powerhouse. It'll go in and knock it out fast. It'll make a true believer really fast. Because it's addressing the unconscious mind. So this is the power one. Especially if you got somebody that didn't know anything. I mean, they don't know anything about tapping, they don't know anything about you. I run into a total stranger and I do this one right here, it goes that fast. Most people, now there's some people a little thick in the head, but that's okay. You have to operate a little bit differently, but this is the powerhouse. So here's how you do it. You have them remember, can you remember it? Take a deep breath, just think about it. You can feel it, can't you? Or they're just talking about it, you can see it all over them. And you ask them, hey, can I try something really cool? Little Chinese acupressure? If you had a tree in front of you and pull all the roots out from under it, naturally what will happen to it? It dies. I said, say this out loud. We're eliminating all sadnesses, fears, angers, emotional traumas, guilt, helplessness, hopelessness, everything else. Take a deep breath. Say peace. All right, go back to it. Notice that it's already started to change. It'll just happen that fast. Now we're using the other, which is aiming. Not releasing, let it go. You're aiming inside. This is the powerhouse. Guys, if they have problems, that's their problem, not yours. Your problem is what you do to you. Make sense?
So even if they're firmly set against the belief, like they firmly don't believe in any of this, like
okay.
completely, as much as possible, it'll still work just fine.
Well, first of all, most people don't have any belief in it either. Most of you started didn't believe it was going to work, didn't you?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so it still worked, didn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, see, there is a deal that I don't want to go there, I don't want to deal with my shit, then you're going to have to let them keep their shit. But if they're willing to try, do it. That's it. Now, some people, again, they're going to stay in their stuff because they know their stuff, they've married this stuff, they drag this stuff around, it becomes a badge of honor. You, on the other hand, you have some of that too, some of the areas you haven't gone to yet. Just make peace with it. Sound good? Yeah. This is very powerful. This is a power tool right here. But the other is just parts and pieces. Tap on whatever it is they say. Don't worry about it. Your value doesn't come from them. And if it does come from them, then you're a slave to them. And you're tired of being a slave, right?
Yeah.
Right. So how do you address your addiction? Go to the stuff that you're addicted to. Look at it. Remember the times and places that you had it. Tap out the emotions. Tap out the feelings. Tap out the smells. Tap out the taste. Tap out the memories associated to it. The people around it. Everything. Change that inside you. Put dog shit on it. Put the worst stuff in it. Put worms on it. Maggots on it. Whatever it is. So you know you'll never go there. Right? And then go to the family dynamics that you had growing up. You can still love them, but never act like them again. Just release the emotional attachments to that. And most of the times when I'm dealing with people, my mother was an addict, therefore I'm going to be an addict too, because I love my mother. You see it? We have these emotional attachments to people who were. Now the reason why that you're here, this is a family, because families can heal themselves. Drug families have their families. The addiction families have their addiction. So you got to divorce the bad family, marry into a good family. The good family loves you. They're nice to you, they treat you well, they honor you, and they heal. And then just keep working on the stuff that you don't want to deal with. When you make peace with all your demons inside you, there's nothing to control you. That's where your power is. All people who become free from addiction take emotional control. They make peace with what they're running from. And you can do it now. Keep tapping, watch this stuff over and over again, because I'm telling you, you watched it one time, you didn't get it. There's a lot that you did, but there's more that you didn't get. Because this is big, big, big inside the head. So, and also, they have the tapping only, they have the weight loss. A good way to get those other people who want to come in, say, hey, you need to lose weight, try some of this. And then listen to them at the game.
Listen to them.
Yeah. So again, let the game be your healer. Let whoever it is that bother you heal you. That means you feel it, you tap on it, you release it. And the way they be your killer, they will kill you if you don't heal it and you take it with you and you let it torment you. Sound good? I'm very proud of you guys. Thank you so much for using this and healing you. Because if you heal you and you love you, when you leave, you're going to affect your children. You're going to affect people you love. And I'll tell you another thing too. Think about whoever it is that's hurt or someone you hurt and your children, and think about them and tap on you. Surrogately tap. There's somebody here that bothers you, think about them, feel as if you're them, and tap on them for you. You'll heal you, you'll affect them. Good?
Good.
So has it helped really?
Yes.
It's going to continue to help.
Very good. This is the gift, isn't it?
Yep.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.